better the second time around, right?
Yeah, it can be hard to
Yeah.
control the video, but
Yep.
welcome everybody to Touch 'em All.
That's a
Presented.
badass intro, man. Play it 3 times.
Yeah, BC and I are back today. We got a whole card to go through, and we got a new partner to introduce. Huh, BC?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. First off, hope everyone had an awesome weekend and a wonderful Mother's Day. Really proud and happy to announce partnership with Sports Data Now. That's sportsdatanow.com. If you are a handicapper, head over there. They have a capper section where they provide tracking services, analytics, and insights. And if you are a consumer, someone who's building your own capping brand, or just someone interested in some free picks of some really hot cappers underneath the sports data umbrella. They have free picks for you as well as links with specials to some of the some of the premium guys who are selling their picks through Sports Data Now or through their own personal store or brand. And really awesome analytics show that they got going there. Andrew, super cool guy, very helpful, interested in really helping everyone be successful in promoting your brand and, of course, winning bets. So very happy to have them on and look forward to working with them and some of the cappers under their umbrella for shows in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. Excited to be partnering with them and excited to go through a big card of games today. Also pumped to see Pig Vig in the comments. Pig does awesome stuff on Twitter. He talk about a guy that wins consistently, is super accountable. He does. Certainly give him a follow on Twitter if you don't already. Puts out awesome content, and I love the way he always puts his face out there, tells you exactly how it is. He loves it. He owns his wins, owns his losses. Just one of the real good dudes on Twitter in general. So give him a follow. But yeah, without further ado, I think go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, man, Corbett's the best dude. He's just give him a follow, even if you're not, just watching for entertainment. The guy broadcasts from his work. He broadcasts from his car. He's broadcast from his living room. He's broadcasted from the beach before. He does work all the time. He puts out really entertaining content. Can't recommend the dude enough. Awesome dude, great handicapper, longtime winner. Thanks for jumping in with us, Pig.
Sounds good. Yeah. But yeah, so we got full slate of games. Not quite a full slate of games today. We got about 12 total games, about a 3/4 slate on a Monday. Pretty good for a Monday, though. First one up is Mets at Nationals. That's the final game of a long rain-soaked series in D.C. They had a weird kind of sort of doubleheader yesterday. Their game on Saturday night got rained out after making the fans stand around for 4 hours in the stands, and they got rained out. And they played the final 6 innings of one game, took a long break, made fans leave, and then played the second game. The whole thing was kind of ugly on the part of Major League Baseball. But I think that it presents some opportunities potentially to make some money today. A couple lefties will be on the mound in this one. Mets, decent-sized favorites, -150. They'll be sending David Peterson to the mound against Patrick Corbin for the Nationals. Peterson, 1-5 with a 7.68 ERA so far this season. Patrick Corbin, 1-5 with a 4.7 ERA so far this season. A couple starters who have really struggled. I've got an angle here. You've got a slightly different angle here. I'll let you go ahead and dive in first.
Yeah, appreciate it. If y'all have the opportunity for following all of your weather for MLB, check out Kevin Roth. He's the lead meteorologist over there at Roto Grinders, and he went on a pretty funny little tangent there about frustrations with the National organization and just what they did to the fans and to the viewers as well, making them to do that crap when they played worse. I mean, there have been multiple games that have been played in worse situations or worse weather than that. So that was a joke. But anyway, moving on. So, Dalton, last week, pardon me, you and I broke down a Corbin start. He was starting for the Nats, and I told you that he was actually showing some progression. He wasn't as epically bad as he was last season with a 6.5 ERA, 3.38, with an opponent batting average over 300. He turned in a quality start and was staying in the games longer. Since then, he's had another quality start against San Francisco. For those who do not know, quality starts when the pitcher goes at least 6 innings, does not allow more than 3 runs. David Peterson has had 7 starts this season with no quality starts. He has not been pitching well. He's expected ERA at 5.26 against an actual 7.68, and he got the hook early in his last start versus Cincinnati, giving him 7 in his 4 earned, 3 and 3 1/3 work. So, dare I say it, is Patrick Corbin the stronger pitcher in this matchup in a divisional rival? We talked about it earlier, and I think that is going to be the case. Mets aren't good versus lefties. Nats are pretty good versus lefties. Mets with a significant bullpen advantage, but who's going to be available to throw out of either bullpen? They picked up a rain out yesterday morning, finished it with a full game in the afternoon. They used 15 arms between both pitching staffs, not counting your starters, and then they played a full game in the late afternoon. I would love to know if there was a yes or no problem with position players going to pitch today. That would be a fun one to take. But I like the over. I believe that's what you texted me last night. You were on. I feel a little more confident about the Nats team total over. I got it last night at 4 minus 110. Peterson has allowed 4 runs or more earned just by himself in his last 4 starts, 5 out of 6. And that's before you get to the mediocre and depleted New York bullpen. So just for shits and giggles, I'm also going to bet on Patrick Corbin just to say that I bet on Patrick Corbin. Give me the Nats first 5 as well. Nats team total over 4. Nats first 5 plus a half minus 110. I love it today.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't mind the Nationals play. I still don't quite have it in me to bet on Corbin at this point. I mean, I think he is certainly improving. You're absolutely right. But this is still he just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't quite get there. As you said, though, I am on the over. I love the over. I took it at I think I got it at 8.5. No, I got it at 9 last night. I think it's still available at 9. If you can find that number, I think it's totally worth taking. You touched on David Peterson of late. 4 more earned in 4 straight starts, 4 more earned in 5 of 6 as well. The Nationals actually faced him a couple times last year. They scored 3 or more earned runs each time that he started against them. So this is a guy who the Nationals are comfortable against. The Nationals are actually 9th in baseball in WRC plus against left-handed pitching, so I think they should score quite a bit early in the game. And while Corbin's not an auto fade, he is still a lock to give up at least 2 or 3 runs in the first couple innings of the game. He's still not a guy that I trust. And even though the Mets are 19th in baseball WRC plus against lefties, that still puts them above average because there are some teams that are really terrible that are kind of pulling the midpoint down. They're about 101 WRC plus. So a couple teams that are one that's slightly above average, one that's way above average against left-handed pitching. A couple bullpens that should be pretty exhausted after playing a weird 15 innings of baseball yesterday. Good hitting conditions in Washington today. Bright sunny day, 76 degrees, wind blowing not hard, but wind blowing a little bit out. Looking at these bullpens since April 22nd, the Mets bullpen 22nd, Washington 27th in ERA since that date. I tend to put an end date about 3 weeks previous when I look at bullpen ERAs, and that's where these two land. So I'm just not seeing any reason this game won't go over. If you made me take a side, I'd take Washington as an underdog. But really, I think the best way to look at this game is just over. So there you go. Next one down, we'll go to St. Louis for the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. As you could probably tell by the hat I've chosen to wear today, I am all over the Brew Crew today. That game has been lined right around a pick'em over under 8.5 from what I've seen. Maybe that's down to 8. Looks like on the lines that we've got here. Either way, 8.5. I don't have a strong opinion on the total here, partially because I think the Brewers will contribute runs, and I think the Cardinals might not. Milwaukee, I think, should be favored by quite a bit more in a pitching matchup between Freddie Peralta and Jack Flaherty. Peralta above average across the board. If you look at his Baseball Savant page, expected ERA right around 3.5. That's well above average. 6 innings pitched in 3 straight starts. They've all been quality starts. One of those was against the Dodgers. One of those was on the road at Coors Field. 2.25 ERA so far in May. So I really think he's a guy that you can trust to go out there and put up a solid start every time out. One of the big factors affecting this game too, this is the second week in a row that the Brewers have gotten to play a team who just played on the road on Sunday Night Baseball the night before. Cardinals played in Boston last night. Game ended pretty late. They had to fly home for this game. Milwaukee obviously played a day game yesterday. Freddie Peralta also made the start in that exact same spot last week on Monday against the Dodgers. Pitched really well. That was a scheduled loss I felt for my Dodgers, and it looked like one once the game started as well. This to me feels like a little bit of a scheduled scheduled loss for St. Louis, especially when you look at the fact that number one, Peralta threw 6 innings, allowing 1 earned run against St. Louis in April, and Flaherty has been a mess. I mean, his velocity has been diminishing. He got a little bit argumentative with the media about it after their last game. This is a guy who's allowed 3 or more earned in 5 consecutive starts, including an avalanche of 10 runs allowed to Anaheim 2 starts ago, and it started home. His expected ERA is over 6, allowing tons of barrels. So, and this is a Milwaukee team that prefers hitting righties to hitting lefties anyway. So to me, Milwaukee should be a favorite here. I'd make them minus 150 or so, even though they're on the road. I'm not understanding this line, and I will gladly take Milwaukee to pick them both first 5 innings and full game. I got both of them around minus 110, and I'm more than comfortable with
that. Nice. I got some feedback that my sound's kind of going in and out, so I've closed all my windows except for my books. So let me know if that makes it better.
Apologies. It's sounding a lot better now, actually.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. I'm not a big window guy. I don't have 50 of them up, but I'm sure one of them was the culprit. So anyhow, so yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I am also going to be on the Brewers money line. One of my favorite plays today. I'm going to go quite a little bit of a different angle. I like Freddie Peralta, like him a lot. Excuse me. Speaking of quality starts, as we're just talking about with Corbett, pardon me, there are 3 quality starts in a row, 5 of 7 so far for Peralta. Jack Flaherty probably should be allowed to do any more post-game interviews. If you want to know what Dalton was talking about, Google Flaherty tells reporters you don't understand pitching. It's laughable, and it's a pretty bad look for the captain there. But Cards kind of ate my lunch over the weekend. They swept Boston, who I was on in some form or fashion 2 of those 3 games. Previous to that, they took 2 out of 3 at Wrigley. Pitching has been better, but really they're finding their offense. The problem is Flaherty has not been improving. Turned in not so great performance in that Wrigley series, 7 hits, 3 earned, home run, 5 innings pitched. He was shelled in every start going back to April before that. Still walking way too many guys. 5 walks issued in that last start versus the Cubs. Strikeouts aren't there like they were last season for him. Brewers are hitting righties well enough. I just don't love this spot for St. Louis. To continue their offensive surge, not with Peralta on the mound, not after finishing that series in Boston, flying to Milwaukee with no rest. That's the Sunday night baseball curse angle that you and I played to death last season. Been very profitable this season as well. And Peralta already shut down this Cards lineup back on April 9th. He only allowed 4 hits, 1 run, and 6 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. So I'm all over fading not just Flaherty, but I think the St. Louis offense comes out flat as well. Brewers money line. I'm also on the run line plus 145, and then double results so I can fade Captain Jack Flaherty as well. That is at plus 150, but for the purpose of the show, Dalton and I are both on Brewers money line minus 110.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're on the same page. Good to hear. Cool. All right. Heading into the next game, Cincinnati Reds, Colorado Rockies from Coors Field. Reds small favorites here, minus 120, over under 11.5. That's going to be hard throwing young fella Hunter Green on the mound for Cincinnati, 0-3 with a 3.69 ERA. He'll take on Connor Siebold for Colorado, who is 1-0 with a 4.56 ERA. I did not land on a bet here. What do you got?
I did, man. This is going to be a pretty quick one for me. It's a pretty big pitching advantage for Cincinnati. It's a big lineup advantage for Cincinnati. It's a decent pin advantage for Cincinnati. My holdup here is that the Rockies were competitive in the Philly series. They just played it at home. Previous to that, they won both series versus the Mets and the Pirates, and they swept the Brewers at home before that. And you can argue a lot of those teams were underperforming at the time, but the Reds are still 6-12 on the road. They're traveling from sea level to the mountains. Maybe there's some Sunday night curse parallels there. Hunter Green, one of our favorite pitchers you and I watch, hasn't been super great in his last 2 starts. They're both on the road. 13 hits, 7 runs, 3 home runs. That was his bugaboo last year, was all the home runs. He's done a better job about it this season, but Coors is not the place you want to be if you're having issues with the long ball again. Reds are currently 2-6 when Green is on the mound. Colorado, weirdly enough, is 2-0 when Siebold starts. And I don't know, man. This just looks like a spot where everything points to the Reds, but they could come out flat, especially against a Colorado team who isn't as bad as we think they are. So this game's gonna be a stay away for me. If I had to play though, I'll take the value with Colorado.
Yeah, I actually think the pitching matchup here leans Colorado's way more than Cincinnati's, and part of it is just
Really?
I mean, just looking at Hunter Green, he's a guy whose results are just super high variance. They're kind of all over the place. His expected ERA is around 4. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's about average. What scares me with him, 6 or more hits in 2 straight starts. You know, the White Sox touched him up at home, and then he went on the road and got hit pretty hard again. And then you look at, 4 walks in his last start. That tells me that right now he doesn't feel super confident in his command of the zone. And I don't like that for a guy going on the road to pitch at Coors. This is also it's just, for me, his form right now is not that great. Now he's really talented, right? His stuff is incredible, and he could easily just pop out and go off any given start. He's just a hard guy for me to handicap in general. But looking at Connor Siebold, he's actually been really good for Colorado since his first outing was a bit rough. He allowed 4 runs in his first outing of the season. But looking at him more recently, 3.60 ERA since joining the rotation over 2 starts, 10 innings, 4 earned runs. There's nothing wrong with that, given one of those starts was that it was at home in Colorado. His expected ERA is right around 4.13, so pretty similar to Green, but I think he's actually in better form right now. He's pitched pretty well his last 2 outings, and really he was pitching pretty well in relief before then as well. The concern with him is he's probably not going to pitch very deep into the game. Like you said, it is a bit of a bullpen advantage for Cincinnati, although it's not terribly large. Cincinnati's bullpen 6th in ERA since April 22nd. Colorado's 11th. Against righties, both teams rank between 22nd and 26th. So for me, I don't think these teams are all that different from one another. I don't think these starting pitchers in their current form, I don't think there's a huge advantage either way. I think Hunter Green is the kind of guy that, like, at his best is clearly the better of these 2 starters. I just don't know if he's going to be at his best today. And Siebold has been at least competitive. So I make the game probably about a pick 'em, -110 either way. I think the total of 11.5. I look at a total of 11.5 the same way I look at a total of like 8.5 for a game anywhere else. It's in Colorado. I feel like that's kind of standard run of the mill total there, and I think that's deserved. Both these pitchers to me feel like guys who are probably high variance and are overall pretty average right now. So I don't really have a strong opinion on the game. I mean, if you made me play it, I would play Colorado at home, but I don't really want to get involved here.
Heard.
Cool. All right. Next game down, Phillies at Giants. We've had a recent pitching change in this one. I have 2 bets on this game. It's one of my favorites on the card tonight. Bailey Falter is going to get bulk innings for the Phillies, and again, we're looking at about -110 each way here. Bailey Falter is going to get bulk innings for the Phillies after Connor Brogdon gets the start. Brogdon's been pretty good for them out of the bullpen. Righty's probably going to go an inning or 2 and then give way to Falter. Over under 8.5. Alex Wood starting for San Francisco. He's probably going to go 2 or 3 innings. He's been dealing with injuries. He hasn't really been built up as a starter at all. Couple angles here that I really like, and actually it looks like you can get Philly at +105 as of the pitching change, which I think just adds value to a team that I already wanted to bet on. So I'm going to be all over the Phillies here +105. I'm also all over the over. I got it at 8.5 last night. I would still play it at 9 happily. Kind of diving into why. First of all, I'll start with why I like Philadelphia. San Francisco's bullpen ranks 29th in baseball all season. It ranks 29th in baseball over the last 3 weeks. Really only Oakland has been worse out of the bullpen than San Francisco. They just give up a ton of runs. And with Alex Wood starting, having not pitched more than 2 1/3 innings in the last month, that bullpen is probably going to have to pitch 6 or 7 innings today. I think that's going to go horribly wrong for San Francisco against a Philadelphia lineup that is clearly very talented. And while Alex Wood is in the game, his ERA is 2.46, but his expected ERA is 5.22. So not a guy worth trusting at all, a guy worth he's due a ton of negative regression. In general, I think the Phillies are going to score a lot of runs here, both against Wood and against the Giants bullpen. I think it will be more than enough. Bailey Falter hasn't been great either. This is a guy who's allowed 3 or more earned runs in 5 straight starts. His expected ERA is close to 5. This is not a bet on Bailey Falter, though. This is a bet on Connor Brogdon getting Philly off to a decent start, Bailey Falter at least keeping them in the ball game, and then Philly turning to the number 4 ranked bullpen in baseball since April 22nd. I think 2 starters for me, the 2 starters, right? The starter and the bulk innings guy for me, it's about a wash. I don't have a lot of confidence in either one. I also don't think either one's going to throw more than 3 innings. So really what it comes down to is Philly has the way better bullpen. Philly has the more talented offense. I think the game goes over with ease, and I think Philly ought to be a favorite here, and they're an underdog. So give me Philly plus 105. Give me over 8.5 or over 9. I think we're looking at something like 8-5 Philadelphia here. What do you think?
Yeah, I had Bailey Falter as the starter. I did not catch the news that he'll get the bulk after the first, maybe the second inning. Yeah, but I'll just go through my cap real quick. We talked about Falter as a sneaky bet on pitcher early in the season, especially with a potent Phillies lineup to back him up, and he pitched really well. The problem was the Phillies were hot garbage to start the season. Now they've righted the ship. They're 500 team, but Falter's gone the other direction. He got tore up at home by Boston, Kirk stomped by Houston and Seattle on the road. Giants, they lost their last 2 series, but the offense has been there mostly. Alex Wood, like he said, limited action, but he's been serviceable. I don't know. It seems like it could be a flat spot for a Phillies team. I mean, they don't hit lefties all that well. They strike out 3rd most in the league versus lefties. Traveling from Coors on a short trip with no rest. Giants not hitting left-handed pitching well either, but probably get to Falter. I don't know. I had a non-action bet on Giants first 5 last night. It wasn't my favorite bet. It was pretty small. Well, actually, it's already been canceled. So both bullpens are god awful. At this point now, I'd be with you on over. I'll do some more studying once we get off the show, and I'll probably make a move to that if I haven't lost too much value on it. But I mean, I'm not seeing too much on this game.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I understand not having an appetite for backing Bailey Falter. That part of it, I certainly understand. I just think that, I think both starters are guys I want to play against, and I just think the Phillies bullpen is so much better. But we'll see what happens. I certainly, if you're going to play the Phillies, I wouldn't do it first 5. I would take the full game because I think it could take the whole
game,
time.
Definitely.
All right, next game, we are heading to Baltimore for the Anaheim Angels, who are from nowhere near Los Angeles, and they are traveling out of John Wayne Airport, not LAX, as they head to Baltimore, Maryland. Actually, they're coming from Cleveland, but whatever. They will be taking on the Orioles. That's going to be quite a pitching matchup. Shohei Ohtani pitching for Anaheim against rookie sensation Grayson Rodriguez taking the mound for Baltimore. We had a comment earlier from the great Pig Vig. He doesn't want us to hate the O's today, and I'm going to be honest, I don't hate the O's today. I think that there are a lot of people out there who are going to auto back the Angels because they're minus 125 or minus 130 with Shohei Ohtani on the mound. I'm not one of those people. And I haven't looked at your best bets yet. Maybe you disagree, but Ohtani has looked very human recently. He's allowed 3 or more runs in 3 consecutive starts, including 5 homers over his last 3 starts. This is a Baltimore team that plays really well at home. This is a Baltimore team that's hitting pitching from both sides relatively well. I think when you look at Grayson Rodriguez pitching for Baltimore, his contact profile isn't great, but the pedigree and the prospect expectations with him are really high. He's going to strike out a lot of hitters. And Anaheim is a team that is not quite as comfortable against righties as they are against lefties. The other thing with Rodriguez, he kind of fell apart in that one start on the road in Kansas City. Other than that, he's really been pretty good. So I actually think the wrong team's favored here. I would make Baltimore a small favorite. There's a chance I play Baltimore if I can still get them at plus money close to game time. But in general here, probably a game that I'm not going to get involved with. But if I did, it would definitely be on Baltimore. Part of why as well, Baltimore 3rd ranked bullpen since April 22nd.
Right.
Anaheim. So to answer Pig's question here, I don't hate the O's today. I actually like them a little bit.
Yeah, marquee matching pitcher of the night, no doubt. Rising star Grayson Rodriguez, greatest baseball player in the world right now, Shohei Ohtani. And like you said, I'd be the first one to say Showtime. He doesn't look like a shoe-in. Cy Young AL candidate he was up until 3 weeks ago. Last 3 starts were rough. 14 hits, 12 runs. The damage really came from the long ball, though. He started 5 home runs in that stretch. Very Hunter Greenish, if you will, because the strikeout stuff and the numbers are still elite. He struck out 28 in that same span. I think he fanned like 13 Cardinals or something like that. It was been wild. We always have to wonder if the hitters are starting to figure him out a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Rodriguez, he's got enough some hard contacts as well. Last 2 starts, 15 hits, 8 runs, 5 home runs there in his last 2. Crazy to think that with Anaheim's lineup and that new outfield configuration at Camden, we couldn't see multiple balls flying out. I need to check the weather. I'd like to open it up, but it's going to mess up my sound, I think. So if you would check it out for me, I'd appreciate it. Both teams have very good bullpens. Otherwise, I would say the over would be a sneaky sharp play, but it got steamed quickly. I opened at 7.5 for like 10 seconds, so now it's 8 with juice to the under. I need to look at it again, see if that maybe came down. I doubt it. The O's don't strike out often. Maybe a Shohei K prop under. Could get tagged early. Just hard to say. Both pitchers have the potential to shove or get blown up. I don't have anything on the game, but I see a Orioles money line plus 115, and inarguably all of the value is on Baltimore today. So I'm with Pigvig. I probably will take a small piece of the O's at that plus 115, but it will not be an official play unless I do some more research and really like it. But O's money line plus 115 if you got to play it.
Yeah, I'll say this: if Pigvig is playing Baltimore, I will follow him into the dark on that because
I'm saying I'll be on it. So I definitely will. Just 20, 25 bucks, something like that. Keep it interesting.
Yeah. All right, next game down. It is the Yankees and the Blue Jays from Toronto. They're kicking off a series there. Yankees both these teams really trying to make up ground in the AL East, which has been a crazy division with currently Tampa Bay and Baltimore up top, but long way to go. Yankees plus 150 underdog, Blue Jays minus 165 on the money line. Over under 9.5 in this one. Jimmy Cordero will start for New York, but he's expected only to act as an opener ahead of Johnny Brito, who will get the bulk innings. Brito 2-3 with a 5.81 ERA. Alek Manoah will take the mound for Toronto. Manoah 1-3 with a 4.83 ERA here. I've got a lean. I don't quite have a play. I'll let you go ahead and get started if you'd like to on this one.
Yeah, probably the marquee series of the week, I think. Yanks and Blue Jays meet for the first 4. Quick cap, honestly, almost missed it. Pitchers were announced very late today, so I didn't have it last night or early this morning. Dominican fireballer Jimmy Cordero make his first start, 16th appearance, all out of the pen. Johnny Brito, who is struggling, comes in past him. Cordero's been lights out. Of course, he hasn't pitched more than 22 innings. Brito up and down. Great April, one blow up in Minnesota, and then after that, he's got shelled by everyone. 11 hits, 7 earned, just last 2 starts this month. Strikeouts haven't been there. Worst current 5.8 ERA, sporting almost a 7 expected. 5.60 expected slugging. I think the Jays are going to get after him pretty good. Alek Manoah also up and down. Similar results in his last 2 starts. Both offenses are crushing everything right now. Jays crushed the Braves. Yankees scored over 21 in their last series with Tampa. Both opponents strong pitching staffs. I think we have a lot of runs here. Bullpen is good, but they're not in great form for New York. They allowed an average of 7 runs in the Tampa series. I think the Jays stay hot. I will take them and have a little bit of faith in Manoah, but I really like that team total over. I'm on the Jays run line plus 120 and the team total over 5.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think we're on the same sides here in theory. I haven't quite played it yet. It's kind of a lean for me. And for me, the lean is on Toronto first 5 innings, laying the half run on the run line. I saw that about minus 120. I think Toronto in the first 5 innings is probably the look. Alek Manoah, he's one of my favorite pitchers. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. He's a real fiery pitcher out there. And he hates the Yankees, and he pitches really well against the Yankees. He has dominated the Yankees so far in his career. He did so earlier this season, 7 shutout innings at New York on April 22nd. And he did that in the midst of a few starts where he was really struggling. So even when he's not pitching, even when he's not pitching well in general, he seems to pitch well against New York. So he's definitely a guy that I look to back in this matchup in general. Toronto, 9th in baseball against righties. New York, just 18th. So advantage for Toronto in general in this matchup offensively as well. Jimmy Cordero, we're open for an inning or two. I wouldn't be surprised if he holds down Toronto maybe once through the lineup or, part of the way through the lineup once. But Johnny Brito has been awful. Like you said, expected ERA on him close to 7. He's never gone more than 5 innings. 4 home runs and 6 earned in May over his 2 starts. That's just 8 innings of work that he's managed to amass that. So I think Toronto should score plenty of runs. I think Toronto in the first 5 innings should get out to a lead. I'm guessing Manoah pitched well, so that should that's probably going to be a play for me. The more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking Toronto first 5 minus halfway.
Let me ask you a question. You can get the Nerfy right now at minus 105. Let Manoah and Cordero hold it down.
I don't want it. I don't like these. Sometimes you get these relievers that are all of a sudden starting. I don't. Yeah. It's just, it makes me uncomfortable, especially with the top of Toronto's lineup is really nasty. And I think a lot of times, even a guy like Manoah, right? If you're going to get to him, there's a decent chance it would happen in the first inning. And taking a look, let me take a look at his stats in the first inning for the season. I'm pulling those up right now. I guess Baseball Savant picked a heck of a time to just freeze on me entirely. That's fun.
Yeah. While you're looking at that, I was looking at some value on anyone. If anyone got a plus number on scoring first, because I think that's a coin flip at best. So if you can get a good plus number on somebody, but no, you got even for the Blue Jays or minus 130 to take the Yankees. So that's out of the window, out of the question as well.
Yeah. Manoah, 4.50 ERA in first innings, 4 earned runs in 8 first innings. 6 walks in 8 first innings.
Nope.
No thanks. If anything, I was gonna say, if anything, I'd bet the other side of that. But yeah, this is one where I just like Manoah over the first 5. I think. We'll see though. All right, next game down is we've got Mariners at Red Sox. It's gonna be Mariners right around a pick of minus 115 or so. I think there's actually been a little bit of Mariners money that might have come in there as they head to Boston to take on the Red Sox. Start of that series. It's going to be George Kirby on the mound for Seattle against Tanner Houck on the mound for Boston, over under 9.5. I don't remember whether you had a side here, but I definitely do. I love Seattle in the first 5 innings at minus 120. George Kirby has been awesome. The guy doesn't walk anybody. His walk rate is 1.7%. So he's not going to give Boston any free base runners. He's gone 7 or more innings in 3 straight starts. His expected ERA is right around 3. He's just remarkably consistent. Like he's never a guy that's going to go out there and blow up, partially because he doesn't give the opponent extra base runners. He's a dude that I'm buying into fully. I think. He was a big time prospect for Seattle, and he's really lived up to it so far. And even his contact profile is really starting to look elite on his Baseball Savant page. So I love George Kirby here. I know Boston's tough on righties, but I think he's the type of pitcher that it might not matter all that much with. When you get a chance to bet him this cheap in the first 5, I think you do it. Looking at Tanner Houck, his stats, 5.26 ERA, not great. Expected ERA closer to 3.64. So he is due some positive regression, but still 3 or more earned runs in 4 straight starts, 5.73 ERA at home. Games have been flying over the total at home at Fenway Park in general. So I don't think Tanner Houck is as bad as he's looked. I think he's a guy that we will be betting on along the way. I just don't think today's the day to do it. Not against George Kirby and the way he's been pitching. I also like Seattle in the full game a bit. Seattle's bullpen is number 1 in baseball since April 22nd in ERA compared to Boston's at 18th. So I think Seattle first 5 and maybe Seattle full game. I'm not sure if I want to bet both or just one or the other yet. But Seattle is definitely the side for my money here.
All right, so I'm going to do my best to get through this handicap. And if it still sounds terrible, I'll need you to entertain for a minute. I'll go run and grab my earbuds and see if that fixes everything. But Mariners have been a bet on team for me so far this season. They're sitting at 500. we keep getting really reasonable numbers to play them. They're a good road team. They're 10-8 away from T-Mobile, and more often than not, I'm looking back and George Kirby's been very good in his last 2 starts. 7 innings and no run ball and 9 strikeouts versus Texas in his last start. Texas is a good hitting team. He still does a fantastic job at limiting the free passes as well. But that being said, I think the Red Sox might give him some problems tonight. Fenway has not been a favorite spot of his. He had several blowups last year. The Red Sox team I've been playing a lot of same-game parlays with all weekend versus St. Louis. They're hitting very well right now, especially against righties. It's a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to center right. Mariners traveling from Detroit with no rest. Sox staying home after the Redbird series. As you said, Tanner Houck not been great. 5.6 ERA versus 3.6 expected. So might be better, might not be. Mariners hitting righties really well right now. My lean is the Red Sox, only because it could be a flat spot for Seattle, especially with Kirby not having good sharp Fenway numbers from last season. I think we agree this Red Sox lineup is better than last season's lineup as well. Problem, as I mentioned before, we aren't getting a good enough price for me to take Boston because Seattle doesn't get priced as a big favorite. One of the reasons you like them today, I suppose, especially on the road. Seattle bullpen is elite, arguably the best in baseball. Better hitting in current form for Boston, though. Go down the column, you check one box for one team, you check the next box for the other team, existing and projected performance. I don't have an edge in this game. I'll pass, but I'll probably check my ESPN app because I have a feeling I'm going to regret not backing Kirby again. I don't know about the full game. I think it's a toss-up once the bullpens get involved because I think that Boston might have a lead. But if they don't, then that means Kirby dominated and I missed out on some money. But you cashed, so happy for you.
Sounds good. All right, cool. And big news coming across here.
How did that sound real quick? Was that okay? Did you go grab the earbuds?
It's still a bit choppy, at least for me.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and talk to Corby. He just posted the Orioles anyway. Go grab my earbuds.
Yeah. So Big here coming in with officially letting us know that he is on the O's plus 110. As BC was going through his handicap there, I hopped into my book and took Orioles plus 115 because I was already about 90% of the way there. So seeing that, all in, go O's. We are fading Shohei Ohtani today. Isn't that fun? But anyway, so, jumping into the next game here, doing a little bit of jumping around here because we had a couple games that didn't have lines for a little while. It's officially time to go through interleague, and it's a robust interleague slate today. Atlanta Braves at Texas Rangers. Braves minus 140 favorites in this one. Over under 9 runs. Charlie Morton taking the mound for Atlanta. He'll be taking on Cody Bradford, who is making his major league debut for the Rangers. I don't have a side here, but while BC goes and grabs what he needs, I'll go ahead and just go through a quick handicap of the game in general. Charlie Morton's a guy who has been okay. He's been pretty much what he is. He's unspectacular, but he's very solid. He keeps them in ball games. Morton's ERA of his expected ERA of 7.9 does call for a lot of negative regression. But it's just really hard to know what that'll look like for him. He's a crafty veteran. He's a guy who has outperformed expectations for a number of years now. So I'm not exactly expecting things to blow up on Charlie Morton all of a sudden. I think he's a pretty decent arm in general. That being said, Texas offense, they got hot against Oakland. We saw what that did for the Yankees going into their series with Tampa. When you get hot against Oakland, it can help you in the following series as well. It's really hard to know what we're going to get from Charlie Morton. I also think it's really hard to know what we're going to get from Cody Bradford making his debut for Texas. Normally, I would want to fade him in a spot like this, but this kid has been absolutely on fire at AAA. 5-1 with a 0.91 ERA at Round Rock, 0 or 1 earned run in 6 of his 7 starts at AAA. He only allowed 2 earned once, and that was against the mighty Oklahoma City Dodgers. The rest of AAA, he's been really good against, absolutely dominant in general. That being said, these are the Atlanta Braves. These are not the Reno Aces. These are not the Frisco Rough Riders, or I guess Frisco's Double A, but these are not the Sugarland Space Cowboys or whoever else you might have. These are the Atlanta Braves. This is going to be a very tough situation for him. I think there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, the Rangers feel good about him. His results at AAA have been excellent, but I cannot get behind him in his making his major league debut against a lineup of this stature, nor do I really want to get behind Charlie Morton pitching on the road in his current form. So this is about as pure of a stay-away game as there will ever be on the card for me. BC, as you've probably ascertained by now, I am talking about Atlanta and Texas. Do you have anything on this one?
Yeah, first off, test 1, 2. How do I sound?
A little bit better so far.
Better? Okay, we'll see how it goes. Second, you put some respect on the Space Cowboys. That is a fun time out there at Constellation Field. You ever come down, we'll go out there. It's a lot of fun.
I believe it. AAA games.
Anyhow, yeah, they're the best. We used to go down to watch the Hooks in Corpus Christi, and of course, I've seen a ton of Round Rock games as well at the Express. So much fun. Anyhow, yeah, let's start with the rookie, 25-year-old Cody Bradford. Home Corey for a second. Cody Bradford, pardon me. 6'4", 25 years old, 24 years old. Baylor Bear out of Aledo, Texas. That's 30 minutes west of Fort Worth. He's the number 26 prospect in the minor league systems, according to Major League Baseball. But as you said, he had a hell of an April since landing with the Express. All the stats you just mentioned. He is also only walked 13, struck out 37, so he's averaging just short of a K per inning. Opponents are hitting 156 against him in that stretch. He was the Pacific Coast League pitcher of the month, and he led that league in ERA, whip innings, and opponent batting average. The thing is, we don't know how he's going to do, especially against the Braves. I mean, the Braves just crush everyone well. He probably not going to stay out there for more than 3 or 4 innings, honestly. That could be one of those nice welcome to the majors moments because the Braves crush lefties. They're on a skid right now, though. Jay stole 1, 6-5. That added a 4th straight loss, very uncharacteristic of Atlanta. And Uncle Charlie Morton opposing is not being good. Not great. Turning a quality start last time versus Boston, but walks are still an issue. Strikeout numbers haven't gotten any better. Rangers probably get to him today. Both bullpens are average to below. Both lineups are raking. Atlanta, as I think you mentioned, WRC plus 152 versus lefties. Rangers WRC plus 114 versus righties. I think that's second or third, respectively, both in the majors. I lean over 9 here. I think the runs are likely. They're definitely possible in every inning of the game today. Nothing official, but I'm looking forward to watching Bradford pitch. Over 9 before we play it.
Yeah, I don't mind the over at all, especially when you consider the splits for Atlanta against left-handed pitching. I mean, they crush lefties. There are a few teams this season that are just really built to kill left-handed pitching. The Braves come to mind, the Angels, Tampa. There are some teams that just absolutely murder lefties that you almost just can't play against with a lefty. So, yeah, I don't mind the over there at all. Like I said, it's a game that just scares me off, but I think that's a pretty good angle. All right. Next game we've got here is going to be the Cubs and the Astros. They're starting a 3-game series from Minute Maid Park tonight. Astros minus 180 favorites. They're sending Framber Valdez to the mound against Jameson Taillon for the Cubs. Over 8 is the total in this one. I'm going to be honest. To me, this is like exactly what I would make this line. This is exactly what I would make this total. I can't really justify a bet. So what do you got?
Not much. So Tyon's a veteran righty. He's actually a local boy too. He played ball at Woodlands High. That's about 30 minutes north of Minute Maid, which is in downtown Houston. We played him in 5A ball. They were a pretty good program. Anyhow, he takes on the Fromage, lefty ace Framber Valdez. What happened to the Cubs over the weekend? I mean, Jesus Christ, the Twinkies of all teams put 27 on them in 2 days. 27-4 is actually what they were outscored. That was bonkers. The whole pitching staff should have been running horses after the game because that was embarrassing. I didn't get a piece of that because the Cubs bullpen can't be trusted, which was proven. And I'm on the record many times now with my opinions of the Twins offense, so that would have been hypocritical. But no, the good news is I don't see that happening tonight. The Astros hitting versus righties has just been terrible. They're just not the offensive team they've been last year, and they're down a ton of injuries, but they can let go up from here as far as that. Cubs have been struggling mightily versus righties, but Fromber's a lefty, and he's been giving up a lot of hard contact. You remember that string of 25 quality starts he had last season that set a Major League Baseball record? We did that by inducing soft contact, lots of ground balls. He had elite defense behind him that was able to pick make easy outs, turn double plays. I knew with the elimination of the shift, that was not going to be the case this season. But what I did not foresee is Valdez being in the bottom 15%, hard hit, bottom 5 exit velo. Launch angle, another fun stat to look at. Ground ball pitcher like Fromber, consistent negative launch angle number. Ball hits bat, ball goes down. First time his entire career, he got a positive angle of launch. Ball hits bat, ball's going up in the air, and he's giving up a lot of runs. Not a lot of runs. His numbers are good, but way too much hard contact. Strikeout stuff is still there. Walk rate's still elite. He could have a good start tonight, or the Cubs could have a bounce back offensive game. I don't see a particular hitting advantage. Tyon versus the lineup. Several guys have good career numbers versus him. Bullpen advantage definitely goes to Houston. We're talking about prices versus underdogs. Remember I said Seattle was not getting numbers. Well, the World Series champions from last year, they're getting big numbers. All the value here is on Chicago. If you really want to play the game, Chicago first 5 would be my play. I think you can get Tyon at plus 150 or plus a run for plus money as well, or even, or plus half a run, pardon me. That's the way I would look to play if I could play, or if I did play it. My only hold up here is that 4 Astros are hitting career over 300 versus Tyon. So I don't have an edge on this game. But like I said, if you force me to play it, Cubs first 5, big plus 150 price tag, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand that angle, especially, the Astros have been pretty inconsistent offensively. What keeps me off of fading Fromber, right? Because you talked about how his contact numbers have gotten so much worse this year, and they have. I mean, he's allowing a ton of hard contact, and it's really obvious in his baseball savant profile. And there's a clear argument for negative regression there with a 3.74 expected ERA. The thing that is just really strange for me about Valdez, though, is this is what he does every year. Like last season, he finished with an expected ERA that was about half a run higher than his actual ERA. Year before that, his expected ERA was about 0.7 of a run higher than his actual ERA. And 3.74 expected ERA is actually like pretty in line for where he's been the last 4 years. 3.84, 3.81, 3.31. So he's one of those pitchers for me that I find really difficult to solve, because the numbers keep telling me he's going to regress in a negative direction, and he keeps not doing it. That being said, like you said, right, the Cubs hit lefties really well. They've hit lefties really well all season. The Astros offense has been kind of just okay. So I don't mind the Cubs here as an underdog play. I think if there's going to be value here, it is definitely on that side. I just couldn't quite get there, but I don't mind it at all. And if you're on the Cubs, I'll certainly be rooting for the Cubs to pick up the win for you there. But all right, let's jump to the next one here. We've got Diamondbacks at A's. Diamondbacks massive favorites, minus 210, over under 9 runs in this one. I just have to come out here and say it. The Oakland Athletics right now are probably my favorite team in baseball from a betting perspective. I love them. Every single game, I am betting run lines against them. I am betting team totals against them. I am betting overs in their games. They've been printing money for me. They're horrible. Their bullpen is one of the worst we've ever seen in Major League Baseball. Their rotation is consistently awful, and today is no different. Drew Rucinski takes the mound for Arizona. 8.16 expected ERA, 8.16 ERA with a 6.59 expected ERA. Mind-blowingly hard contact being allowed. He's walking a ton of batters. 5 or more runs allowed in all 3 of the starts he's made this season. And then he'll be followed in by baseball's worst bullpen. I basically have a rule right now with the A's where unless Mason Miller is their starting pitcher, anytime you are issued a 4.5 team total against them, you should bet the over every time without looking blindly. I am also going to be almost blindly betting run lines against this team. We saw why yesterday against the Rangers. Even when they take a game 3-3 in the 7th inning into the 8th inning, that bullpen they just give up crooked numbers like it's their job. Texas yesterday with an 8-run 8th inning to win the game 11-3. And we've seen that happen time and time again with them. I think they've given up 5 or more runs in about 80% of their games this season. This is a team that you really just put the same bet down every day against them. Today, the bet that I'm making, Arizona -1.5 on the run line. I got it at -125 last night. I'd probably play it up to -135. I also might take Arizona team total, even though it's a little bit higher at 5.5. You can get over that at -105. Decent chance I'll take that as well. We don't really have to look all that closely at the opposing starter with Oakland. Their offense is not great, but it's okay. They are scoring some runs. Merrill Kelly has been really good at times. He's been just okay at others for Arizona. Overall, he's solid but not special. His expected ERA is a little bit over 4. 1.15 on the road, though, so that's encouraging. He has been better when he pitches away from Chase Field. But, I mean, this is just – it doesn't have to be that complicated of a handicap when it comes to Oakland. Arizona, run line, -1.5. Arizona, team total, over 5.5. Although I'm not 100% sure on the team total, given that it's a little bit higher. That's where I'm at. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that my audio has driven away all of our all of our viewers. I gotta get this thing fixed. Man, what a nightmare. Sorry about that, Dalton.
It's all good.
We need to get this figured out because this doesn't happen when you and I are talking outside the stream, dude. Does it?
It only happens when it seems to me that it only happens when you have a handicap up, like when you're actually going through an active handicap on a game. Which makes me think that it has to do with whatever you pull up to do the handicap.
That was just a Microsoft Word doc. I guess I'll print it next time, but I'm gonna get an external microphone because this is the second or third time you mentioned to me that I need to get this fixed. So anyway, yeah, sorry. Let's just run through these last few games. Apologies again to everyone who tuned in and was not was driven crazy by my audio. Anyhow, yeah. So. Merrill Kelly, I think when I capped this, it was going to be Drew Rucinski or Kyle Muller. Rucinski, ERA over 7, Muller, ERA over 8. I mean, doesn't affect your cap. What's interesting is, even though both pitchers are terrible, the A's offense is not bad. They're batting a combined 230, but they did a much better job getting out of the basement in OPS and home runs. Unfortunately, it's just not translated into wins. They were able to sneak one extra innings from Texas. I was on the run line of that game, of course. And that was early win since April 30th. Again, I certainly put the A's offense ahead of Cleveland, maybe Seattle. They're hitting better than San Diego right now, but who isn't? It's just the pitching, man. It's combined ERA 7.27. Opponents hitting 286. On base, OPS, hits, runs, home runs, all DFL in the league. Not even close, actually. Teams are just feasting on this entire staff, starters and bullpen. I made a regular habit to play same game parlays. I spin a derby for whoever faces them. Merrill should be fine. He's gonna have a couple last good starts. Jesus Aguilar hits him well. Other than that, he should dominate everyone. 10-mile-an-hour wind, blowing out, dead center. Give me runs. Comfortable Arizona win here. Diamondbacks first 5, -0.5. Diamondbacks team total over 5. My concern is the Diamondbacks bullpen. His bottom 5 ERA, and they've been prone to some blowups. If you go run line, be concerned. The A's squad is hitting very well. I would recommend all line because the Snakes either win big or the bullpen's going to blow it. You can get -2 even money. Play the standard run line -135. Or you can get -30 in the first 5 laying a half a run. I feel more comfortable. Merrill Kelly over Drew Rucinski. That's a no-brainer for me. That's going to be the outcome that most likely gets to the pay window. I will have a same game parlay posted later on my Twitter for this game.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean it's funny because it's pretty consensus known across the market right now that you can just bet against Oakland's pitching. Um, but there's just no way for sports books to really catch up with that at the moment. I mean, I think at some point they're going to have to start issuing like over under 6.5 team totals against them. That's the only way they're really going to get me off of it, at least until Oakland fixes something or something changes. So, yeah, same idea there. We got 2 more games on the card tonight. Sorry, go ahead. Did you say something?
Oh, no. Sorry. Dog was being loud.
Final 2 games, both out on the West Coast, both interleague. First one, Kansas City Royals at San Diego Padres, rekindling their ages-old rivalry between those 2 cities. I'm kidding, but it is an old AFC West rivalry between the Chargers and the Chiefs when these 2 get together. Kansas City Royals plus 180, San Diego minus 200, over under 9 in this one. Brad Keller pitching for Kansas City against Michael Wacha for San Diego. I don't have anything here. It doesn't look like either. Or no, you do. You're on the pod. You got a Padres bet. Let's hear about it.
I do. Righty-righty matchup that I have zero interest in watching, honestly. Keller's just been a mixed bag of results. He'll give you a good performance, allowing 1 or 2 runs, then get blown out for 4 more after that. Should be expecting a less than mediocre pitcher, 431 versus a 509. It's the walks. He can really help himself and his team if he just stopped walking so many guys. 24 batters in 30 innings last month. Already 8 batters in 9 innings and 2 starts this month. That's just rough. Michael Wacha, almost as bad. 42 versus 496. He does keep the walks down, but he didn't strike anybody out. Limits hard contact, does a great job keeping the ball in the yard. Pause looked like trash in the LA series. Got swept. I cashed a run line after run line, so that was awesome. With the Dodgers. Didn't look good in the Minnesota series. Didn't look good hosting the Dodgers in the home series before that either. So we know what this Pause lineup is capable of. The troubling thing is it's already middle of May and they still haven't produced to their offensive potential. That being said, still plenty of time to bust the slump. Are the Royals slump busters? Absolutely. Will they be competitive? I think so. They'll probably hang a couple on Wacha. Offense still been scoring runs. They just haven't been winning ball games. I'll leave the over. Both pitchers could easily give it all up. Both bullpens, especially KC's, could get it blown up. Bottom 3 ERA and whip, last and strike anybody out. It's risky, but I like the Padres team total over 5. This should be an offensive slump buster game at Petco. Beautiful SoCal weather, slight breeze, 8 miles an hour across the diamond. Should be a really nice time out there. I say I would watch the game if I was there. Hell yeah, I'd watch the game. Looks like a nice day out west on the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with San Diego's offense, obviously they've been struggling. And some of it is, if you're going to show a meme of crying Clayton Kershaw on your scoreboard after a win, I don't know what you expect other than for the Dodgers to beat you 5 games in a row next week. You kind of get what you deserve there. But no, I think the one thing with the Padres, there's no debate about the talent in that lineup and the talent that team has just in general. And to me, I am less concerned, I think, than most about their offense. And obviously, as a Dodger fan, I'd love to be more concerned about their offense. But this is a team that is batting league worst right now. They are under 200 for the season with runners in scoring position. And it's funny, right now, like I made a huge bet yesterday that I wrote up at Gallery Sports about the Houston Astros to win the AL West at right around even money. That's available today at DraftKings. I would empty your bank account on the Astros to win the AL West to reason that even money. Part of the reason why is because the Rangers, who currently lead the division, are batting 331 on the season with runners in scoring position. That's not sustainable. The same is not sustainable with San Diego, who's batting, I think, like 190 with runners in scoring position. That's the type of thing that over the course of the season almost always regresses. I think San Diego, as it goes along, is going to start producing with runners in scoring position. I also think they've played an exceptionally difficult schedule recently, and now they get to come home and play a Royals team and face a pitcher in Brad Keller who's terrible. I think this is a really good spot for their offense to get right. If it were 4.5, I think I would join you at 5. I'm just slightly scared off, but I certainly think that the team total on the Padres is a good bet and one worth making if you want action on this game. So I actually totally endorse that. I think Brad Keller is a gas can. I think the Padres should score a bit. And I think we're going to start seeing value on their offense because it's a little bit undervalued versus what it should start to do as the season goes along. So that's my 2 cents there.
Sounds good.
Last game on the board tonight, Minnesota Twins at Los Angeles Dodgers. These are my 2 favorite teams in baseball. Obviously I'm a big Dodger fan. One of my good buddies worked for the Twins, so I like the Twins quite a bit as well. So it'll be a fun series for me to watch. I'm excited about it when these 2 get together. It doesn't happen quite as often, although now it's going to happen every year. Dodgers minus 115 at home. That is just an outlier of a home money line for the Dodgers. They're usually much bigger favorites in end games at home. Over under 8.5 here. I think the only way I can look is Dodgers money line. This is a team that is 13-2 in their last 15 games. Their bullpen is all of a sudden just completely lights out. The starting pitching has been awesome. The lineup is really starting to click, and they gave Will Smith a day off yesterday, so he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow or today. Dodgers are 18-6 when Will Smith is in the lineup. This is a team that is just really, really good. And, I think it took a little bit for them to catch their rhythm. They had a lot of guys on paternity leave, a lot of guys hurt. And now we're starting to see why they let go of Cody Bellinger, because James Outman's better. We're starting to see why they let Justin Turner walk, because Miguel Vargas is better. And a lot of this is just Dodgers player development coming through, Dodgers scouting coming through. And that lineup is really starting to turn it on. So why am I not all over the Dodgers today? Well, Pablo Lopez has pitched well in his career against LA. He has pitched well so far this season for Minnesota. He's 2-2 in the ERA, around 3.5. Expected ERA is actually a little bit better, 3.38. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned against LA last season when he was with Miami. When the Dodgers do lose games, they tend to lose the first game of a series. They've done that twice in a row going into this series, 2 of the last 3 series heading into this one. This is a Minnesota team whose offense is on fire, like you talked about when you were talking about the Cubs. Minnesota scored 27 runs over the last two games. That being said, you look at these teams against righties. Dodgers second in baseball against righties in WRC plus. Minnesota middle of the pack at 16th. Dodger Penn 5th in baseball in ERA since April 22nd. I think if we were to filter that since about May 5th, they're probably number 1. They just haven't been giving up anything out of the bullpen. Minnesota 12th in that category. But again, Pablo Lopez 1.78 ERA on the road. And Noah Syndergaard pitching for LA has been a bit of a mess. He left his last start against Milwaukee with a horribly ugly bleeding blister after 1 start. Somehow he's back to pitch tonight. I am a little bit skeptical that he's going to last long and he's not going to have to leave again with the blister, which, as good as the Dodgers bullpen is, that would expose them for a lot of innings. And I don't think that's a good thing regardless. If Syndergaard does pitch, he has been avoiding walks, but he's been remarkably hittable all season. He's been getting crushed, and this is a Minnesota team that just crushed a much better righty yesterday in Stroman. So what keeps me off of LA is I think the starting pitching matchup here clearly says Minnesota. That being said, current form of the teams, the Dodgers are just on one of those rolls that they go on where they just become unstoppable for 3 or 4 weeks. Their bullpen has been really good. So let's say if Syndergaard goes out there and gives us 5 innings, allows 2 or 3 runs, I think the Dodgers should be like minus 175 to win the game. What scares me is that Syndergaard might go out there and give us 2 innings, allow 6 runs, leave with a blister, and all of a sudden we're playing catch up all night. So I lean Dodgers just because this is so cheap for them at home when they've won 13 out of 15. But I'm just not quite there. What do you think?
The Lopez, man. 3.47 ERA, 3.38 expected. Clearly he's a better starter here. Offensive wise, this is without looking at WRC plus, just an eye test. Both teams evenly matched offense in current form. I mentioned earlier the Dodgers bats came alive in the San Diego series, cashed us up a bunch of plus money run lines because that team and offense especially was underperforming to that point. So we got some fair numbers on the run line. Same with Minnesota. They put up crooked numbers versus the Cubbies after being offensively anemic for the first part of the last month. Both of these teams, similar season trajectories, even see that same projected ultimate results. Preseason phase when National League West, AL Central, current records on top of the division, blah, blah, blah. It's just hard for me for the Twins. It's hard for me to trust the Twins to keep performing offensively. Whereas the ball that LA has been playing lately is kind of what we've been expecting from the Dodgers all along. My hang up here is not continuing to ride LA, especially at a near pick'em price at home. As you said, 13 and 15 winners. The mismatch, Syndergaard versus Lopez. Bullpens are virtually equal. Great hitting conditions at Chavez Ravine. No boost, just good weather. Dodgers striking out significantly more than the Twins. Might be an edge towards the Twins on the first 5 if that's where you're leaning. A Freddie Freeman prop versus Lopez, or a Byron Buxton prop versus Thor might be worth a look. Both those guys are raking right now, and they've owned the other respective pitcher in their career. Don't really know, man. If you're not playing the Dodgers at this number in this form, then I certainly am not as well. Maybe a player prop if I'm having a good day in the evening, since this is the Hawaii game for tonight.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. If you're going to play Minnesota, you can really only do it in the first 5. Dodgers bullpen's been just a lot better. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. If I'm having a good night, there's a chance that I might just fire on the Dodgers just to ride the hot hand. But, it wouldn't be my most confident play, and it feels to me like a spot probably worth staying away from. I think any other Dodger starter at this price against Lopez, I'd take the chance. But Syndergaard, this finger blister is concerning. He's not pitching well, even if he is healthy. I really just don't want to mess with it. That being said, if this game gets to like the 4th inning and the Twins aren't out to a lead yet, and you can get a number on the Dodgers that's like minus 125 or better on the money line live, jump all over it, because if the Twins don't jump on the Dodgers early here, I think the Dodgers will win this game. So that's my 2 cents. But yeah, good show. A lot of bets. We'll go through our best bets here before we sign off. I've got, I think about 9 of them here. I love Milwaukee first 5 in full game. That's why I've got the Brewers hat on today. Like Mets, Washington over 9. I like Philly on the money line, catching a little plus money, even at even money. I like them quite a bit. Philly and San Francisco over 8.5. I would comfortably play that at 9 as well. Seattle first 5 minus 120 on the money line. We love George Kirby. Arizona minus 1.5 over the Oakland A's. We love betting against the Oakland A's. I also lean toward the overs there, both team total and full game. Baltimore on the money line plus 115. We are going to go ahead and fade Shohei Ohtani. We ain't scared. Toronto first 5 minus half a run at minus 120. I like what I see from Manoah against New York in his career, and I think Johnny Brito could give up a snowman of runs here. An absolute I just think it could be a total mess for him. So I'll be sitting back, sipping some Sprite, enjoying these games, looking forward to it. Hopefully we get an avalanche of runs from Toronto. What do you got on your best bets here?
Sprite. All right. That's funny. Nationals, team total over 4. Probably my biggest bet today. Also like the first 5 plus a half. That's right. Betting on Patrick Corbin today. Can you hear me? I'm getting a lot of feedback on my thing.
I can hear you okay at the moment.
Okay, good. Brewers. I'm going to go run line. Plus 145. A little greedy, but should be a flat spot.
Eating those cheese curds. I love it.
All right. Padres, team total over 5. I think it probably gets there, obviously. Padres are a little bit concerning, but I like that bet today. Diamondbacks, first 5 minus a half. That's probably going to be my biggest bet today. Team total over 5. Probably not far behind. Jays run line plus 120 and the team total over 5. And I will have a same game parlay for the Diamondbacks and A's that will almost be exclusively Diamondback hitters.
Sounds good. Makes a ton of sense to me. All right, awesome. Well, appreciate everybody who joined. Good to hear from Sports Data Now. Good to hear from Pig Vig. Good stuff all around. And we'll be back as the week goes along with more best bets. Feel free to go ahead and follow us both on Twitter. That's at BC_Houston1 for BC. He's putting out his best bets every day. At Dalton on Sports is mine. I've got best bets, articles, everything you want there as well. Hopefully a night full of winning tonight, and we'll see you later in the week.
All right, guys. Catch y'all next time. Good luck.